Hey everybody, welcome to NixOS. I'm your host, Matt.
I'm Nate.
All right, and Matt's going to learn to talk into the microphone eventually.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. Yeah, Nate has no faith in me. That's just me. And sad. And also true. Just a little bit true. All right, so hello, welcome to the NixOS. Be prepared for a good one as per usual. I would say we have a good topic, but we have no topic, so we're going to just wing it. We're going to, once a year, we just have an episode where we just chat. So we will take some listener questions from the chat room, so be prepared for that. You guys have questions, we will ask you for those in a little while, and we'll just have some good times talking about some Linuxy stuff. So that's what we're going to do. But let's start off with something just to at least pretend like there's a structure to the show and ask what you've been up to lately, Nate.
I have actually been playing around with Debian on a MacBook. So it's I just released a video. So after the podcast, you can go watch it. But yeah, it just been something I've been playing around with, and kind of been deer hunting. I ain't gonna lie, being a country boy.
Did you catch anything?
No, everything's either too small or they too far away, and I don't take risky shots. So
makes sense. I will freely admit that I am not a deer hunter. I prefer my meat prepared already. So if I have to go catch it, that's too much work. I'm just saying. I mean, obviously. Okay. So that's cool. So for me, I have been trying to get back into YouTube and making videos. I recorded a couple of videos yesterday. I got to actually edit them just on the thing. Nate, we need to, one of us needs to be a successful YouTuber so the other one can quit and become the editor. I'm just saying that has to happen because I hate editing videos with a passion. All right, I complain about it. Damn it, why can't I hire Nate? Like, I need to hire Nate to edit my videos because I hate it. Mostly because I have to go use that stupid Mac. So you've been using a Mac with Debian. I wish I could install Debian on my Mac. It'd be much better. It's just, I don't like it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The 2015s are like $150.
The Intel ones?
Inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they would work.
I don't need to buy any more shit.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, I just bought a new I just had to buy the new keyboard because my dactyl broke. And Joel, one of my blogging buddies, got me into fountain pens. So I've been buying fountain pens, and that's stupid. But I like them. So no, actually, this is worse. So just to show you that it's a problem, you know.
Oh Lord, yeah. Okay,
it's an issue.
But I bought this little fancy pen. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got like a really fine tip on it. It's a little pencil thing, and yeah, I paid like $10 for this one stupid thing.
I know. I think I paid, this one here was $34, and that is my limit on a pen. But if you go searching for fountain pens, they're fucking expensive. Like, you can find them for like $150, $200, $20,000. Like, if you want like a Mont Blanc. I don't even like the looks of those things, but still, I'm obviously not going to be spending that much money on fountain pens. But by the time I'm done, I probably will have, actually. That's just horrible.
I was gonna say, if you get bigger and start making that YouTube money, probably.
Patreon.com/LinuxCast for those of you guys who want to support my new addiction. Just saying, or shop.linuxcast.org if you want to get some merch. You know, like the lovely, not old, just stable hat that Nate's wearing. I'm the new Linus. Anyways, so I've been doing the YouTube thing. I've also been getting into coding. Like, I've been seriously now that I'm unemployed again, I'm getting into Rust, like seriously into Rust. So I've been developing 2 different Rust applications. I have a new fetch. That's where I kind of broke my teeth in on Rust. And I've been doing a to-do list application. And I also been working with some React and TypeScript stuff for a homepage. So that's what I've been doing for that kind of stuff. I am the king of spaghetti code. Just to let you all know. I mean, it's like the best spaghetti coder ever. Like, that stuff is just a tangled mess. And my comments are legendarily not there.
Like, so say non-existent.
Like they're just like, I go back to some of my spaghetti code and like, why did I write that? You know, it'd be good if there was a comment there to let someone know why this is in there and why it works the way that it works. And yeah, I don't do that. If you see comments in there, you just know that Claude wrote them. It wasn't me. Because Claude will comment that shit. I'm much too lazy. So anyways, that's basically what I've been doing, is just so Cody left for a new pen. I appreciate that, man. For you know exactly what I'm going to be doing with that. There's a pen I've been having my eye on. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. So Nate, talk to us a little bit about your Mac experience. Now I know we're the Linux cast, but who cares? Because I'm very curious, because you are much more operating system agnostic than I am. You're much more willing to use other things than I am. So what are your experiences?
If you're looking to just do work, and I mean strictly work, Mac OS is probably one of the best operating systems to use, because just for work, a lot of things just work out of it. With that being said, forget about customizations, forget about trying to make it use certain files, because I found out the hard way that you have to install multiple extensions in order to make it work, or just install VLC and it'll run all the codecs. Also with Resolve, it works great, except for I have the 8 gigabyte model, and there are times it does hit the limit. So don't buy the 8 gigabyte model if you can. Mine was only $200, so you know, I haggled. I'll deal with the 8 gigabytes. But yeah, other than that, it runs fairly well. If I had to line it up, if I had Pop OS and Mac OS, but I had the same battery life on the T14 as I do the MacBook, the MacBook would probably be sold tomorrow.
Yeah. The battery life is what I hear, killer. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question, and you just tell me whether you agree or disagree. Do you hate Finder?
I wish I could burn it.
Yeah, okay. So just as a pro tip, if you're willing to spend $16, there's an application called Bloom, Bloom. It is basically Finder. It's basically like if Finder and Crusader had sex and had a baby. It has all the features you could possibly want. Split pane into multiple panes, not just two, all the features. Those pesky extensions you have to get to view some of the extension files, yeah, it'll work in that too. So, and it's a lifetime license. So, yeah.
Okay, side rant, sorry. Why is it that everything that you need to make macOS actually work properly, or at least better, always is like $10 here, $15 here, $20 here? I'm like,
because they know the way the developers on Mac OS look at it is if you had enough money to buy a Mac, you obviously have enough money to pay the developers for their applications. If you use Linux, if you're using Linux, you're obviously a poor motherfucker, so you can't, But on Mac, you have some money. Either that, or you just you went to the pawn shop and bought yourself one. They don't recognize you as a true Mac user, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Everything is like nickel dime. Like nothing's like, there are some things like are truly expensive. So like when I was a Mac user ages, like an actual Mac user, like that was my full-time thing. They had, there was some weird like graphics program that would like help you do some things. It wasn't Photoshop. It did that kind of stuff. It was like $400. And it was when the first Mac App Store was out there. I was like, that's fucking expensive. And I don't need it. Yeah. But I bought it anyways. Like I needed it for like one thing. I bought it, and you can't do refunds on the Mac App Store either, which is just the stupidest thing ever. Like on the Android, if you buy something, you get a refund. You can't do it on Mac.
Well, I was gonna say, even with Resolve, like I was looking into like buying Resolve for Mac on through the App Store. It was still $300, and then I started reading it, and it's like, yeah, but it's missing all these other features and blah blah. Like, so I'm spending $300 when I already have the license. I'm just going to transfer the license to what I already have that has all the features. It's like, this is ridiculous. I couldn't believe how expensive some of them applications were. Because I'm used to Android. Android is like 99 cents, $1.99, $4.99. That's what I'm used to. I'm not used to this $20 per application. I'm like, geez.
I will say that the Android guys are kind of getting a little big for the britches, because I've been looking for, I think I talked about this last time we talked. I've been looking for a good e-reader, because I've been hosting all my ebooks, just because I'm trying to get away from Kindle. And all the e-readers are free, but they have ads. And like, I get it, like, you want to make money. Like, I'm a content creator. I enjoy having, a little bit of extra cash coming in, and that comes from advertising. But ads on Android are like a million times worse than any other ads ever invented, because they're just like there, and that's just like at the bottom, and then every once in a while there's a giant full screen video ad will come up, and you can't dismiss it. You got to watch the whole video, and it's not bad enough that you have to watch a 30-second video, but then afterwards they have a 10-second pop-up for you to go into the App Store to buy the game you're not going to get, and that's not dismissible until the timer goes off. So it's like a minute and a half worth of fucking ads. It's like the Super Bowl, but worse. It's not, you don't even
and
get.
And then you click on it, and it goes to the Google store, and you have to back out again and click again.
Yeah, because the X isn't actually an X. It's actually, here, you wanted to go to the Play Store to get this stupid zombie shoot 'em up game that also has ads in it for other games. It's just like, come on, man, this has got to be a better experience. But no, it's not a better experience. It's just obnoxiously bad. So yeah, I don't. My experience with Mac is just like, I use it for Resolve. And that's it. Because Resolve, say what you will about Mac, and there's many things that we could say, but Resolve works buttery smooth. I mean, that thing does not crash. You can update it and not worry about things breaking, which is just like, it's like a miracle. Because even on Linux, when you do get it to work, and even you've had this experience now, you go to update it, and like all of a sudden, there's a library somewhere that's moved somewhere, and you got to copy it in a certain place in order for it to get to work. On Mac, you just download the DMG, plop it into the fucking applications folder, and watch the wizard for half a second, and the update is there. It remembers your settings, which half the time on Linux it didn't used to. It's just like, it's a miracle. It fucking works, and it's awesome. But other than that, God, this is like, why does this exist? It's like, you ever seen the movie Metropolis, Nate? It's like a 1930s black and white movie, and everybody's like a drone. That's Mac OS to me. Like, it's just like, it's the most corporate thing you could think of. I'm not talking about the privacy and stuff. It's just like so cookie cutter. I will say the dark mode is fantastic. Like, they do the best dark mode. I think we've talked about that before, but other than that, it's so unlikable.
Yeah, but like I said, for just work, it's great, but it has no soul. Like, it's just some operating system. Like, Windows, as much as I can't stand Windows, it has a soul. It tries to steal yours, but it has one. And Mac OS, it's just soulless. Like, you get on it, you do what you need to do, and then you're off. Yeah, maybe that's the lifestyle they're going for. I don't know, but it just.
Well, I think our problem, Nate, is we're Linux users, and admittedly we're tinkerers. We enjoy. I mean, when people say Linux is a hobby, I get a little mad, because it implies that you can't do work on Linux, but you can do work on Linux. But it is also a hobby. You know what I mean? You can switch to different distros. You can do these, different things. You can script all this stuff, right? Whereas Mac OS is decidedly not a hobby. Like, you just, it's a fork. It's a hammer. You don't use your hammer for anything else other than hammering nails. And that's what Mac is. And it's fine. It does its job. But man, there are certain instantaneouses where I just like instantaneouses. Good Lord, can't fucking talk. There are certain instances where I just cannot believe I spent $900 on this aluminum squircle that sits on my desk constantly on, because I don't want to turn it off. It just goes to sleep, which is fine, but the light is there, and that's all I use it for. Like, it's just like, I don't know if that was worth it. You know what makes me wish? That Kdenlive was good. If Kdenlive was good, we wouldn't have this problem. And like, Kdenlive's fine, but it's also not fine. So, I don't know.
It's got a KDE problem.
It does have a KDE problem.
Seriously, that's what the problem is. It works great until the next update. And then, it's going to take a minute.
I do use Kdenlive for the end screen credits that we put on for the patrons, and it's fine. But there's so many there's some things that are just really weird. Like animating that end screen credit requires you to do some really weird things in order to get it to scroll. And, that's fine. I got used to it. But then you go use DaVinci Resolve and it just has effects. Now, Kdenlive has effects too, but applying them to certain things just doesn't work the same as it applies to other things. They're kind of all like mismatched. It's a KDE problem. Like nothing is done the same way twice. Some things are just weird. And also, I'm having a stupid problem when I try to drag something into Kdenlive. It crashes again because I'm in Wayland. It works fine in Hexorg because of course it does. Work fine in the thing that nobody uses anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's KDE.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. And then I had this whole fight with someone on Twitter. All right, so here's a rant for you, Nate. I wasn't on Twitter. It was on Mastodon. Version numbers are stupid. Like, they just break my brain. So Kdenlive, or not Kdenlive, but KDE Plasma came out at 6.0 at the end of 2024. And just a few days or whatever, or maybe just a few days ago, they released 6.6. And my brain thinks, you know what? They're going to get to 7 awful fast. And that's just not the way version numbers work. Like, when they get to 6.9, the next one's not going to be 7.0, which is what my brain thought it was. And so I got very stubborn because someone says, like, that's not the way it works. Like, that's the way math works, dumbass. 6.9 goes to 7. That's just the way that it works, okay? And I was very saucy with that person. I don't know who you, if you happen to be watching this, I apologize, because eventually I got my pants on right and realized that they're not going from 6.9 to 7. They're going to 6.9 to 6.10. And I was like, but that's less than 6.9. That's 6.1. That's a lower number. Like, I don't understand. It's going to freak me out. So, like, I vaguely knew that they did that, but and I'm bad at math. Like, I'm horrendous at math. But that math I understand. One number is smaller than the other. I don't get it. They're stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, for example, even on Mac OS, you've got, like 10.0, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. Like, they were following a deal, right? And then they went to 10.10. Okay, 10.11. They go all the way up to 10.15. Then all of a sudden it's back to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and now we're on 26.
I think it's the California education, Nate. It's just like that. In California, they just teach you how to count differently. That's how the way that it is.
Yeah. 2 + 2 = 5.
And then the next time you run that same equation, it's 12 and a half. It's, come on, man. I think that's why I actually kind of like the way Ubuntu does it. Like, once you understand that Ubuntu does, the year and the month, or 24.04, like, it's the year and then it's the month. I can understand that logic. You're not incrementing the number in terms of what version it is. You're just telling people what year it came out and what month it came out. My brain can figure that out. It's simple. Now, I would like people out there to notice that I just said something nice about Ubuntu. Please mark that down, because it won't happen again until next year. No.
In 2027.
It'll be Matt's compliment 2604.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Nate, Cosmic Desktop comes out, in what?
17th?
I think it's the 11th, isn't it? The 11th?
Is it 11th, or I thought it was 17th?
Well,
or I'm getting it confused with something else.
You would know better than I. But anyways, it comes out soon. Are you excited?
Yes and no. Yes, I'm excited because it's a whole new desktop and it is working very solid, but I have found some bugs that I hope they do fix before release. Otherwise, my DMs are going to be flooded with, why don't this work? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm not a developer. I just like Pop OS.
Nate is the Pop OS guy, so he's going to be like the chief support officer of System 76.
And not get paid.
Like, they just send you a computer. I mean, you'd probably do
I'll have to take one of those desktops that have like the 4 Intel GPUs in them,
Yeah,
that's like $40,000.
yeah. I'd like to try the Ampere one because I don't know what I'd use it for, but the one that's ARM based.
Oh, yeah, the 128 cores.
Yeah. I'm sure I could figure out something to do with that. I'm sure Resolve would work fine on that.
Yeah, totally great.
It works on Mac ARM. I think it could work on regular ARM, I'm sure. Actually, what I'm trying to think is like, I've never used anything with Linux based on ARM other than the phones, and the phones are always like, God, this is hot garbage.
Oh, it is the 11th. I just seen it. Okay. Yeah, I was getting confused with something else that's coming out on the 17th.
We just point out for the fact that Matt doesn't care about Cosmic, but he knew the date. All right.
Yeah.
And Matt can't remember shit, so that's just wrong on all sorts of levels. All right, so I am planning once it hits 1.0 to actually use Cosmic for the first time, because I've been avoiding it while it's in testing, because I want to know what it's like as a release product, like something that they'll actually ship on hardware. So I'm gonna try it on NixOS. I'm actually, so NixOS 25.11 just went stable yesterday or the day before, and I'm going to do a reinstall. I know DW tells me I don't have to reinstall, but I'm refreshing my home directory and stuff. I'm gonna do a reinstall, and when I'm gonna try to wait to go to 25.11 stable until Cosmic comes out, and then I'm gonna use Cosmic for a little while and do a little bit of a review. I honestly don't have high expectations, Nate, just simply because it still feels too Gnome-ish, and I'm not a Gnome guy. Like, I'm just absolutely not.
I will say that if you actually use Cosmic, it is almost like the perfect blend between Gnome and KDE, because there's a lot of things that you can do in Cosmic that you cannot do in Gnome, period, without adding 15 different extensions to get to one function that you need. Cosmic just does it out of the box. But with that being said, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be added into Cosmic to, I think, make it that distro, that desktop environment that will be that in-between point between Gnome and KDE, that it has the good stability of Gnome, but you can customize it. Because, well, I don't even run, even this is Gnome, and I don't run it as stock. I've added, I think I'm at 20 extensions now. Versus on Cosmic, on my T14, I can just do a couple settings and pretty much get the same result. So.
Yeah. Nate, if you ever meet anybody who uses vanilla Gnome, that's communist. I'm assuming that's a communist, or perhaps a serial killer
Psychopath.
of some kind. Yeah, it's like a psycho. Yeah. Because vanilla Gnome is just the worst shit ever. Like, it's so bad.
It makes Mac OS look like it's a godsend.
Well, like, at least Mac OS, you know where the icons are. Like, right out of the bat, you have to know where the icons are. And every time I say that, like, oh, well, Gnome has a tour. Okay, raise your hands in the chat if you've ever actually clicked through the Gnome tour before and you weren't, like, paid to do so. I mean, it's just like, I just hit cancel on that thing. I think everybody else does too. And which means that, granted, I guess if you really didn't know what you were doing, you'd be more interested in actually going through the tour. But the vast majority of people, I think, and then I guess it's fine because you probably know where the icons are and you know what the super key actually is. I've used vanilla Gnome, but that's the problem. I don't use it long enough to customize it. You just install it just long enough to install XFCE. That's exactly what I have gone through.
I'm a little bit worried about this Hunted Raven 7 person.
Yeah, that you've gone through the tour. Yeah, I want to email it to linuxcast.org. I want to see visual proof.
We want a 7-hour video. No, don't do that. Anyway.
Well, you can do one. We're not going to watch it.
Yeah. But it's proof.
It will prove dedication, at least. I think the layout of Gnome can be good. Like, Pop! OS proved that Gnome can look good. It can be very functional when they were still doing the Gnome thing. But like you said, you have to pile on so many extensions in order to get it to be that point. It's just, at that point, just use KDE because it's going to be just as stable. Because you got to deal with the whole extensions nonsense and shit like that breaks, just like shit breaks in KDE.
Well, not every extension's secure either, which is what a lot of people don't understand either. Just because it's there doesn't mean that it can't access some files that don't need to be accessed.
Yeah, and they still want you to install that shit from a website basically. And now I know that you can go get the extension manager, which is what they should do. Like that should come with GNOME out of the box, but it doesn't. It just comes with regular GNOME extension thing that you can't do anything with. It just lists them. Link Arzu, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's life going as a free man from work, man? We won't talk about that. Where's Drew? Is he hiding from me? I don't think he's hiding from you. I'm not actually sure what came up with Drew today, but he's off for the evening. So Nate and I are chatting. Anyways, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. So what's missing from Cosmic that you're still waiting on that will happen after the 1.0 release, Nate?
I feel like they need a few more settings to be able to tweak certain things. Like, for example, because you can actually like make the top bar smaller, you can make the dock smaller. But I feel like in like applications, sometimes the actual toolbar that's across there is way too big. I would like to be able to shrink that because, yeah, I don't want something that's in my face with a big old X button. That's one thing I wish they would fix. There's a couple accessibility things that they really need to add to their desktop environment. And how do I say that? I know it's an X11 problem, and I know it's probably an X-Wayland problem, but man, sometimes applications just don't work when you have to use an X11 port. I wish it did. I wish it would just work. But I don't know if that's a Rust issue or if it's an X-Wayland issue or just X11 apps being weird, or I don't know.
I have a feeling it's X-Wayland because it happens the same thing on on some of the window managers that I use. So like on Neri, Vivaldi took 2 minutes to load. And that's like that's being very generous on the timing of it because it took forever. So much so I just figured it wasn't going to load like ever. Like I just figured it wasn't come on. Eventually I went and moved on to doing something else, and all of a sudden Vivaldi popped. I was like, oh, finally. You remember actually back in the day when Snaps first came out, Firefox was kind of like that, where you clicked on Firefox and then like a minute and a half later it finally decided it was going to launch. Yeah,
and it was kind of glitchy for like 5.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. The problem with like Neri, they do X-Wayland differently than anybody else does. They completely they just done it in a different way. So I'm wondering if Pop! OS did something like that as well, where they just did X-Wayland differently than regular.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if it's maybe a Rust issue. Like maybe they had to do a certain way because of Rust, the Rust language, but I don't know. I'm not a developer, so I don't really know. The one thing I will say that they absolutely need to fix and add more feature to is Cosmic files, because it is way too basic. So just FYI, you're going to install a different file manager because it's way too basic.
How do they handle other toolkits that get on there? So like if you install Thunar and that just uses regular GTK, how does it look? Does
it work? Yeah, it works fine.
Does it?
I'm using Thunar right now. Yeah.
Like, what would you install if you wanted to change the theme? Or you just kind of
I usually use dark mode, and it automatically selected dark mode. So I don't know if it's...
so probably, maybe they're doing some kind of GTK stuff in the background.
Yeah,
maybe?
It's possible. Because, like I said, I installed Thunar because like Cosmic files are just way too basic, and I need extra functionality to, especially connecting to servers. And so... yeah, I just installed it and it went to dark mode. So I don't know if there's something in the background that they're doing or if they have some GTK
magic
stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be honest, that's also kind of normal too, because I'm sure they probably still have stuff left over from Gnome, even though they built it from the ground up. So
well, and they know that other people are gonna install stuff, and they're going to. I would think that they want some of that stuff to work. It's like with. The biggest problem I still have with Flatpaks, like I use a few Flatpaks, and when you install a GTK app, it comes out the browningly white Adwaita theme. Like, oh, come on, guys. Like, how are we 10 years or more into Flatpaks, and we still have this problem. Like, can't you?
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that's because your apps are sandboxed, because that's bullshit. Like these things have access to my home directory. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Why can't they, while they're accessing my data, also get into the fucking theme folder and grab one of those things? Right? It just doesn't. It feels like Flatpak, completely different topic, but it feels like Flatpak has been abandoned. Like there's nobody that are actually working on it. Like, it hasn't been improved in what seems like forever. They still have some of the same problems they've had forever. It's actually slower sometimes now than a snap package, which is just the most. It's sad. Like, I don't know. It's very disappointing, because like Flatpak was like the universal package manager. It's going to be awesome. You can have this app on everything. And also, I still would offer services to the Blackmagic guys if they made a Flatpak of Resolve. But that's, beside the point. But yeah,
it's really not an unrelated topic, because, Cosmic is like all in with Flatpaks. Like, even some of the tweaks, like the tweak application and stuff, I believe is a Flatpak that you can install for Cosmic. With that being said, I did think of one application use that will probably drive you nuts if you use a Chromium browser. For some reason, YouTube and full screen does not work right with Chromium browsers. Works okay on Firefox. Why? Don't know. But it will do like this double full screen thing. It's weird. You just have to experience it. And I've looked it up to try to how to fix it. And the only thing I've gotten is, yeah, it's a Cosmic issue and they know about it, but there's no fix. I'm like, okay.
I'm very suspicious when some developer says there's no fix. To them, it just means that they don't want to fix it. That's the not my problem response, it feels like.
Yeah, I don't know why they're still using Firefox anyways, but that's just me being salty.
Well, because there's no other open source browser that is worth a damn. Would you rather them use GNOME Web? No. Okay. All right. Then shut up. Think about
listen,
it.
System 76. Make your own web browser.
Maybe that's next, but that Helium browser that Drew's all on about, that's not a half bad browser if you want just regular Chromium. Like, it's basically like on Google Chrome. It's not half bad. I don't use it because I'm a Vivaldi shill, but it's very fast. It's got all the features you want. It's just, they could potentially use that if they didn't want to go to Firefox, but then they'd have the problem you're talking about with the videos. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's how could it possibly be a YouTube problem though? No, like an actual like Google YouTube problem, because they own Chrome, they basically own Chromium, and they wouldn't make it worse in a Chromium browser. That doesn't make any sense.
I think it's specifically Cosmic, because it doesn't happen in GNOME, it doesn't happen in KDE, it doesn't happen with, I've tried Neri, didn't happen there. I tried Hyperlin, don't like Hyperlin, but it didn't happen there. It is literally just Cosmic, and it does this weird, like, you hit the full screen and then it will put it in this weird state where it's like full screen but not. Then you have to hit full screen again and then it'll go to the full size video. But when you minimize the video, then you have to hit F11 to get out of this weird full screen. I don't get it. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I wish browsers were better. Like I do like Vivaldi a lot, but it has problems. Like it feels like the heyday of browsers was like 10 years ago, and now they're just all like converging. You know what? In math, when you talk about going towards the limit or whatever, you got that graph where it goes towards zero but never gets there. That's the extent of my knowledge of it, by the way. Don't ask for any more details. I just vaguely remember, but it feels like they're all converging on the center of just being the same, and that same is garbage. Now, I have a question for you guys. There's someone in the chat right now. Drew, where the fuck are you? I've had this situation happen before. All right. So the thing I have to say is, if there was a browser that was like Qt browser, but that had actual ad blocking, I would use the fuck out of that. Like, just no Chrome, no nonsense, completely 100% keyboard driven. I'd pay to use it. Like, I'd pay money every month to use it, even if it had good ad browser. Like, everybody looks say like, oh, Key browser has ad blocking. It really doesn't. Like, if it doesn't block ads, it doesn't have ad blocking. You know, it's fine. I could use something like Pi-hole or something like that, but I'll get there eventually, maybe someday. Do you use any of those? What do you block ads with? Just you block Origin or something?
I use Brave browser, and it automatically blocks all the ads I need.
Yeah, so, Vivaldi does that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing that you can run. That, and I know that they always talk about, oh, what about the Brave Bitcoin or whatever? It literally by default does not even turn on anymore. You have to go turn on your wallet and then go turn on the actual mining. Otherwise, it's off natively now. So that's not an issue. So for me, just Brave has worked. And the only thing that Brave could do better is if you have bookmarks. They don't do bookmarks very well at all. You have to download a CSV file and all that mess.
Yeah, I used Brave in the past. It's fine. I've never really cared for the Chrome like look. Like, it just basically looks like Chrome. And I just never cared for that look and feel.
There are themes, by the way, that you can go kind of change it up a little.
I know that they've changed since the last time I used it, because now they have like vertical tabs and you can do a lot more customizing with this stuff, which is cool. I don't know. Vivaldi for me it's like, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way, like, you know, the potential of KDE, right? Like, KDE has the most potential of any desktop environment because it has the most options, right? Vivaldi's kind of like that. It has a ton of options, but it's done it well to the point where you can use it and it doesn't break. And that's cool for me. Like, I can, if I want the tab bar at the bottom, I can put it at the bottom. If I want it at the top, I can put it at the top. I want it side to side, whatever. Basically, any part of it I can customize, and it just works. Whereas, like, if I want to do the same thing with Firefox, I have to get into the CSS and, you know, wait for the next update to break it. It's just, for me, I like to customize the crap out of my browser in terms of that stuff, and being able to move that stuff around is very cool for me. And I also, Vivaldi has this option, tab stacks, that allows you to basically open up a double layer tab bar. But, you know, the bottom layer is the group, and then the top layer is the members of the group. And that's just phenomenally useful, because not only can you have workspaces, which is like, you know, all of the, you know, different, you know, things on separate, like, basically different browsers, but you also have the ability to group things in different ways than what Chrome allows you to do. So, like, with Chrome, with like Brave, for example, you got the tab groups and you got those like colored things at the top, and that's fine. But the double stack thing is just so much better. I'm not as much of a tab hoarder as I used to be, though, Nate. I'm much better.
I find that a little hard to believe. Though people ask me, how do I do tabs? Well, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3.
You have to have a new monitor for every tab you have. Oh, that's just the funniest thing. All right, so I say I'm not a tab.
I told you I hate tabbing. I hate it with a passion.
All right, so I only have 4 monitors, which makes me not equal to your beloved setup, Nate. But 4 monitors, but still, I couldn't do that. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 tabs open. Oh, no, excuse me, 24 tabs, because I have 3 pinned. For me, that's much better than it used to be. Like, I used to have like 200 tabs open. Like, and some of those had been open for like years. I don't do that anymore. I'm much better. I don't actually use the workspaces on Vivaldi as much as I used. Like, I used to use the crap out of those things. Like, I had a whole like section for video ideas, and I just don't use them anymore.
Well, I have 2 tabs open. One is the live stream with the chat, and the other one's Google. Google search. That's it.
I mean, I could close my tabs. I could close my tabs, but I just open them back up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, to the point that usually if I'm using a browser, I literally only have 1 tab open, because that's normally all I need. I don't really do in between stuff. And that's because, I think part of it too is because, like, even on Linux, I use a email client, and I I refuse to go into a web page and go to Gmail or whatever. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I use Proton Mail, so can't really use the client. I know they have a bridge, but it doesn't work well. I actually have the Electron app for Proton Mail now. I put it in a group with Discord. It is garbage, but it's better than using in a tab. I've gotten better, so I use LinkedIn as like a save it later kind of thing, and I've gotten better when I'm, like I know I'm going to want something, but I don't want to leave the tab open. I can actually just save that in there. So I've gotten better at it. There's still some things like there's a blog post here on self-hosting DNS that I've had open for ages. I should probably add that to LinkedIn because I'm not eventually I'm going to get to there, but it doesn't need to be open. But I still have some tendencies of keeping things open longer than they need to be.
I was gonna say, you're gonna fix it right here on stream.
I actually did. I didn't show anybody, but I did in fact move it to LinkedIn. So I closed 3 tabs and added that stuff to LinkedIn right here while I was talking to you guys. So I should be happy. There's another one here that I could probably close that I don't actually need. So this is like a game that I saw on It's Foss called Sausage. Okay. I don't know why that's called that, but it's like a Wordle game. It's that.
Okay.
Anyways, and I still have Boom and the Boom thing for the file manager thing.
I will say, have you ever gone through like Snaps or Flatpaks and just looked at the game section and wondered where some of these people got their names from?
Yes.
It's the most random names I've ever seen in my life.
So I have some very dear friends who are Foss developers, and I mean you probably are in the same boat. Now you know a lot of people in this community who are in the developer. They're all very good people for the most part. There's some assholes out there, and I won't name names, but there are some mostly just prince of the world kind of people, but they can't name shit worth a damn. Like some of them are just, in fact, I can't even say some. All of them are just bad. Like none of them. There has to be something in the open source gene pool that, like, if you saw the Venn diagram of people who code open source software and are bad at naming things, it's just a fucking circle. Yeah, it's just really bad. Like GIMP, like come on, man. Like you knew that. The person who came up with the acronym had to know that somewhere along the line that was going to offend somebody. I mean, they had to know. Yeah. There was no way they didn't know.
I went to the flathub.org, went down to this. It says, "We love games." They have a G Pro, Hurry Curry, Pick Me, Fish Fillets. Why? Reaction. Okay. Like, these are just names. I'm like, where did you get these from? It makes no sense. And then when you click on them, sometimes they're like a port of another game. And I'm like, so why don't I just install that game that you're trying to port over? Anyways, it's weird. It's really weird. But I think you're right. I think people just abandon Flatpaks. At least the Q18.
Yeah,
some weird stuff is on there.
Yeah. It just feels like it's a no man's land of development. So like, I mean, maybe it's just a feeling, but it's just what it feels like. And as to what distro I use, I don't use a distro. I use NixOS. It's not a real distro, guys. I still stand by that. But yeah, I use NixOS. It's fine. Nate, have you ever actually used NixOS before?
Mm-hmm. I did 4 years ago. And quickly got off of it because I didn't like it. And mostly because I kept getting told that I need to use flakes and I couldn't figure it out. So I quit. Never went back.
Yeah. So I have many. I am 147 days into my 2 years of NixOS. And I said this on the lug the other night. But I'm bored. Like I could, I used OpenSUSE for 2 years, and I never got bored with it. Like until the last maybe like 20 days, I was like itching to move on to the next thing just because I knew the next thing was coming. But I never truly got bored with the thing. I am bored with NixOS. I I compared it to Debian the other night. It's phenomenally stable. Like it's very, very stable. Once you set it up and stop tweaking it, it just works. I'm even on the unstable branch, and it just carries on. I can't break it. Now, granted, I haven't tried that hard. Like I don't want to break it, but it seems like during an update sometime somewhere along the line, it would have broken, but it just doesn't. So that's nice, but I'm bored. So I've been messing around with my Flake, and don't worry, Nate. I've been using it for 147 days. I still don't know what the fuck a Flake is, and this is my third time through NixOS. By the way, I've tried to explain it to myself. I can't do it. D-Dubs has explained it to me. Like that poor guy has to be just God damn it, Matt. I hate that motherfucker. I can't explain Flakes to him one more time. I've asked him multiple times, and he explains it well, but it just like it's like his words go straight through this ear, right out the other, and nothing gets left behind. And then I ask another guy, and he'll explain it another way, and they're basically the same explanation, but it's the same thing. It's just like, hey, I use Flakes. I can show you. I could show people my Flake, and I created that thing. It was me. I can't explain why. I can kind of explain what it is. I can't explain why you'd want to use it, and I just can't. And I haven't met anybody else who actually can either. Not really. I mean, they can attempt to, but for an idiot like me, you have to boil those things down to 3-letter words or less in order for me to understand it, and nobody can do that. It's just impossible. Also, someone in the chat asked, why isn't Matt looking at the camera? Well, first off, welcome to Linux Cast. I never look at the camera. Second of all, I don't talk in the microphone either.
Well, yeah, but otherwise he doesn't.
The problem is that I'm looking at Nate. So Nate's over here, So that's the reason why I'm looking. Like to me, I'm looking Nate right in the eyes. But actually, if I want to do that, I have to go over here. And this is just weird for me, so you guys just gonna have to live with me. Plus, if I did this, I'd be even less prone to actually talking to the microphone. So, so we'll just stay this direction.
So it would go from like this to, hey, how are y'all doing? Were we doing okay? And then randomly come back, and then I have to go in and like manually up every single part and split that section. Yeah,
I would never do that.
I know you would.
I would never do that once. I do that every podcast. I mean, I could theoretically, the thing is long enough, I could actually do this, but then you'd get be a fucking Darth Vader over here.
Yeah.
So we'll just, not do that. Also, I'm sure those microphone sounds of me moving shit around is just going to be fantastic to edit out.
Hello, Resolve AI.
All right. So if you guys have... Matt needs a NixOS microphone. Okay, so I showed these to Nate. There are stickers here. But the thing is, I paid money for the OpenSUSE sticker. That fucker's staying on there forever. So I don't know where I'm going to put these, but yeah, they're here. I supported...
okay, go ahead.
I supported NixOS. You guys should be happy with me. I paid the developers money for these things.
Yeah. Or you could be like me and support System 76 and literally just send them your email, and guess what? They'll send you free stickers.
Well, they also have, they have other means of income. I did this because I wanted to actually support them monetarily, I guess. But yeah, and it is kind of it's a boondoggle that they give you free stickers. Yeah. Bribery is real.
Yeah. I don't show it, but like I've bought their backpack. I've bought when they had the hat running for a while. I bought that. I never wear it because it's white, and yeah,
you wear it one time, it's work. No longer white.
Exactly. Yeah. So that sucker stays in the closet in the bag. I don't ever wear it, but yeah, like I've bought stuff, but still, I feel like distros could at least give you some free stickers unless they absolutely have nothing in the store.
So if I hadn't wanted to support them monetarily, I could actually give them money. What I could have done was just upload the logo to Fourth Wall and get a sample that way. It would have been a lot cheaper. It would have been cheating though, but that's fine. But that can happen because I think I have some credit for free samples from Fourth Wall again. I got some for Thanksgiving or whatever, and I could have just done that for free. But no, I didn't do that. I will say this about systems. So sometime in the next year, Nate, I'm going to have a new computer. Like my main desktop computer is I'm not. It's not really on its last legs. I could do some updating to it, and it would be fine probably for another few years. But I have a feeling that it'd just be easier to put the money towards a new PC. So I built this one back in 2020 when they were sending out governmental checks like it was, willy nilly, just like, and you have it was like fucking Oprah. You have a check and you have a check. It was, thank you, Mr. Biden. I'll take that and I'll buy myself a new some computer parts. So I took my stimulus package and built myself a computer, and so it's almost 6 years old. And it still works fine, but it's, the fans are always running. It sounds like the AIO is probably on its last legs. So I've been looking at the thing is, I don't want to build my own again. Like I wasn't that good at it that time. I did it. I had that experience. I don't think I need to do it again. So I've been looking at pre-builds, and I would really like an ITX case, like a smaller case, because this thing's fucking huge. But I can't. A lot of those are really super expensive, and also they're from companies I just never heard of before. So I went to System 76, and they have some smaller cases. They're not ITX build, but they're like mid towers or whatever. And god damn, are they expensive? They're just so pricey. I want to I would love to support them. Actually buy an actual computer from them. I just can't justify the markup that they put onto their hardware. It's insane.
Well, once again, it has a lot to do with the fact that what a lot of people get wrong is they compare System 76 to Dell and HP and Lenovo, and I'm like, okay, you're talking about a very small manufacturer that has to buy the parts versus Dell, HP, and Lenovo literally buy this massive bulk order, so they get a massive discount. You can't really do that whenever you're trying to build your own system. And it's I was wanting to, I have a Ryzen 3950X it's sitting over there, that I want to build. I want to make it my Linux workstation, right? So I was looking, okay, I want 64 gigabytes of RAM, because if I'm going to use a Resolve, I want to be able to have headroom. Yeah, it looks like I'm not going to be buying DDR4 for a while.
Yeah,
nor DDR5.
It's back up in price again. Yeah, I know. I saw.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of stuck here with a CPU, a motherboard. I have a 360 AIO setting in there. I have a case sitting right over there on the floor, brand new white case. It's beautiful, and I can't do nothing with it because I have no RAM. So yeah,
I don't think I mind so much that there is a premium on the System 76. I understand that they can't buy in bulk. It's like comparing a mom and pop grocery store to Walmart. They can't buy 12 pallets of spaghetti sauce. They can only buy a couple jars, and that's the reason why it's cheaper at Walmart, right? So I get that part. But if you compare them to other very small time PC building shops, they're often much closer because they just buy random parts. But it's also, System 76 will put a current GPU in it, whereas a lot of those other places will give you all of the newest stuff, and then they'll be putting in a 1080 and there's a graphics card, because the graphics card was fucking expensive. When I finally decide to pull the trigger on a new PC, it's gonna be interesting to see how I do, because it's gonna be more. I was looking at. So have you looked at that what is it? A framework. The framework desktop thing. It's really small. It looks cool. My worry about it is that it does not have a dedicated GPU, and I really want a dedicated GPU, or at least room to add one.
I will say, with that particular AMD APU, because it's technically what it is, it actually, that GPU, that iGPU actually has enough horsepower that you can actually play AAA title games at 1440p with decent between 60 to 80 FPS. It's that good. It's one of the few APUs that literally can max out every setting in 1080p and let it run. And the main difference is that that system, you can put 96 gigabytes of RAM in it. It's DDR5 RAM, but you can put that in there, and you can split half of that RAM to go to the actual GPU. So if you really wanted to, you could have 48 gigs going to your GPU.
It has the same System 76 problem, though, is that it's like obnoxiously expensive.
Oh, yeah, it's $2,000.
Yeah. Like it's okay, so I'm going to look at the camera for this. The framework guys, if you're listening to this, the fact that you charge for those fucking little tiles on the front is a boondoggle, and it's a scam. Okay? It's a useless feature. It should at least come with some of the colored ones, and maybe I don't own one. If they want to send me one, despite the fact that I just called them a scam, I'd happily be your sponsor, you know. But maybe, like I said, maybe it comes with the blank ones. But the fact that you have to buy them, and like, it's not expensive, like $14, but it's like, it feels nickely and dimey, if you know what I mean. It's just it's I don't know. It is. Drew in the chat said, "I see a mini PC in Matt's future." I have one of those. It's called a Macintosh. I mean, if I could get like full PC performance in a mini PC, that'd be cool. But I do want a dedicated, I really do want a dedicated GPU because eventually Resolve will work good for me. Like I have to have it's like I have to have the hope and the faith that eventually someday I'll be able to use DaVinci Resolve on Linux. And if that means I need the hardware that I can actually do that, if that reality comes true someday. So, I mean, granted, it's probably not, but still.
Yeah, it's the only way that you can really run a mini PC and get the full power that you're talking about, you would have to go get one of those Oculink docks and actually kind of jank together an Oculink case with the GPU.
And then I have the same amount of space as just a case.
Yeah, yeah. I will say this though. There is one thing that I've noticed. There's a Menace Forum board that actually has a laptop CPU in it, but it's a Ryzen chip that has 16 cores and 32 threads. It uses SODIMM DDR5, and I think it has like 2 NVMe SSD slots that you could put in there, and it has a full PCIe. And I was like, man, that'd be great as like a mini ITX build. But again, it's $500 for the board. That's not including the RAM, which is kind of high right now.
Yeah, I have a feeling that when I buy that, it's not going to be cheap. In which case, if I'm going to have to spend $2,000 on a computer, I might as well buy a System 76 or a framework or something like that. I don't know. It'll be in the future. I mean, in a ideal world, I mean, theoretically, I could just put in a little bit of money so I could get a new AIO for the PC that I have and put the thermal paste on and stuff like that. That could take care of some of my thermal issues. I get a couple, brand new noctual fans or something like that, and probably get, put maybe update the memory because the memory is pretty old in this thing, and just kind of piece together a brand new PC over time. And maybe that's what I end up doing. I will have to have a new case though, because the case that I have is a NZXT H500, I think is what it is. It has no airflow whatsoever. They punctured like 12 holes in the side, and like, there you go, there's your airflow.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is. I'd have to look at it again. Anyways, but I literally bought one that had, for some reason, they had 2 mesh panels in the front of it, so I ripped one of them out just so that there's actual airflow, because I only need 1 mesh panel on the front. And then I have a case down here that is a $50 cheapie that I don't even have a side panel on it, because if you put it on there, it gets too hot because airflow is terrible. So yeah, I definitely know the case feelings of needing to upgrade.
I've had one of those. I think it's like thermal. I don't know what brand it is. I don't know the case brand, but it has it's literally like holes on 3 of the sides, and like if you can't get airflow into that thing, you're doing something wrong type cases. I've had that in my Amazon wish list for, I don't know. I actually think I've had it in the same amount of time as I've actually had this computer for like 5 or 6 years. I've thought about just replacing the case, and it may just end up what I do is just upgrade this one slowly over time, get the new stuff, and then maybe eventually just replace the motherboard and the CPU along with it, and then I'll just have built an entirely new computer again, which I said I didn't want to do.
I think the system that you have, like I technically, I think it could run a brand new GPU pretty well for a long time.
Honestly, Nate, I don't max out what I have. My biggest issues with it as it is right now are that it runs a little hot when I'm doing anything. So it runs in the 70-degree range, which is a little bit higher than I'd like. And I think most of that is because, like I said, the AIO is 6 years old, so there's probably not any water in there. I've never done any maintenance on it. Why would I do that?
So his thermal paste is going to be crust.
It is a little crust. I'm sure it's a little crusty. Maybe now that I'd have nothing else to do, I'll open that up and see. If I don't show up to the podcast next week, it's because the dust bunnies in there decided to devour me whole. So you're
gonna look pre-powdered.
It's like the guy in the second Home Alone movie when he gets hit with the 50-pound thing of flour and he's just got it all over my face. That's great. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and move on to. Do you have a Nugget of the week, Nate?
I do, actually.
All right, why don't you tell us your Nugget of the week?
I forgot to put it in there. But
that's fine. I don't think I'm going to have to come up with one real quick, so go ahead.
So my Nugget of the week was I have been trying some game controllers because I've been playing some games on Mac and also on Linux. And I have found that the Nintendo Switch, just the regular Nintendo Switch Pro controller, works really well between all three systems. And it connects via Bluetooth. And I've not had any issues with it, so I really like them. The button layout is a little weird, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad. But yeah, that's my Nugget of the week.
Okay, so my Nugget of the week is something stupid. I mean, it's the dumbest thing. So I've been getting into journaling and note taking. So with these field notes things that I talked about a little while ago, and you said you got some of those right too, Nate. And one of the things that I do now is that I got into Amazon. So I got inspired by a TikTok ad. So right away, good shit, right? But there's this little thing. It's in leather, has magnets on each side, and you can put it on your book here, and it just holds it open, and it's like a bookmark. Now I know it's the stupidest thing, but I saw it on a TikTok ad. This thing was like $4 on Amazon. I didn't buy it on TikTok. Don't judge me too harshly. I'm not gonna give TikTok my credit card information. Amazon already's got that shit, so I just ordered it on Amazon. But it also adds what's cool. It adds a pen holster to any notebook if it doesn't have one. So. Yeah, but I have no clue what it's called, so it's gonna be fun to put in the show notes. It's just it's a magnet bookmarky thingamajig, and well, actually, it'll fit all 48 pages and still magnetize to itself. So it's pretty strong.
I think that would also be really good. Come to think about it, I do a lot of studying, so I have a lot of books. That'd be great to stick between pages because sometimes I lose where I'm at.
Yeah, it's a nice little bookmark, and this one has an embossed letter M on it. You guys probably can't see it, but it's there. So it has my letter on it. Anyways, that's my Nugget of the week. I will try to find a link for it from Amazon and put it in the show notes as well. So, anyways. That is it for this one. So if you guys enjoyed this fly from the seat of our pants type podcast, we're normally a little bit more structured than this, not much more structured, but Drew shows up and he instills a sense of discipline. Nate and I get here, we're just like, fuck it, we're not doing anything. We're just gonna talk. We don't need your stinking rules, Drew. If he's the one that does it, I know. I'm just being funny. All right. So, anyways, if you want to get in contact with us, you can do that by emailing us. Email@thelinkscast.org is that email address. That's probably the best way to find us. Or you can hop on our Discord, which is thelinuxcast.org/Discord. You'll find our Discord server there. Nate is on YouTube. He actually posted a video right before this, so go immediately after this and go watch his stuff. He's Nate Picks Tech World on YouTube. We'll make sure the link for that is in the video description eventually as well. So check that out. Drew, who's not here, is Just a Guy Linux, and he posts things about Debian and stuff. Nate posts stuff about hardware. What was your video about today, Nate?
Actually installing Debian on a old MacBook Air.
So if you want to watch Nate go to hell, go watch his videos. I'm just assuming that was the experience. All right. Nate Picks Tech World on YouTube. The rest of our contact information is available at thelinuxcast.org/contact. There you'll find Mastodon and links to email and all sorts of stuff. So go check that out if you haven't already. So thanks for those of you who watched us live. We record this live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We basically talk about Linuxy stuff. So if you want to join us in the live chat, I know we didn't get to questions, guys. I promised we were going to do that. I forgot until literally just a second. So we'll do a Q&A session some other time. So just hold on to your questions. We'll get there eventually. But anyway,
Drew here because he's structured.
Yeah, he'll actually have answers to the questions. Yeah. Nate and I will just be like, Nate and I we'll just be here doing our thing. Anyways, I've lost my train of thought. So, live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't watch live, we do post an edited version on Saturdays, usually Saturday around 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. That version goes up on YouTube, and an audio version goes on any podcast app that you can think of. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts. I'm pretty sure we're on like SiriusXM Podcasts or something like that. And so if you wanted to go check us out wherever it is, you can do that. If you do listen to us on the Apple Podcasts thing, go and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it because we have ambition to be the best rated podcast anyways of any Linux podcast ever, and we can't do that without your guys' help. So if your podcast app allows you to leave a review for us and tell us how amazing we are. And if it's a negative review, you can leave that too, because it helps us just as much. So if you want to tell who wants to watch this stuff, there was no fucking topic. It's the show about nothing, okay? We're not as funny as Seinfeld, okay? We're just not as funny as Seinfeld. We don't get paid as much as Seinfeld. So you want to support us and make us as well paid as Seinfeld, we'll get funny. I will tell jokes for money. I mean, I don't know about you, Nate, but we'll be the funniest bastards. You want to pay us money? We'll be funny. Until then, that's been the Linux Cast. We'll see you guys next time.